For Lab 2, you're going to work with Google Earth. Learn how to download the software, learn how to use the fly to or search function, place markers, collect information in latitude and longitude, measure distance, be able to change the coordinates from decimal degrees to minutes, degrees, minutes, and seconds, and then learn how to use the KML files that you can create in Google Earth and share with people, or that you can upload from different sites on the internet. So first thing you'll need to do is to download Google Earth. And kind of check that your PC will, or your Mac will let you do that. Agree and download. Choose OK. I may pause this if this takes a little while, but usually it just takes a couple minutes for this to work, but my internet's being a little slow this morning. Okay, so it downloaded. It asked me to grab that and put it on my hard drive. And I actually just put it on my desktop and I launch it from there. So I double click it. And I choose open. And there it goes. It's really a fast load. Okay, so every time I launch Google Earth, I get some information that comes up, kind of little clips or little hints and tips, and I often don't even look at those. So if you're using a Mac or a PC, they download quite a bit differently, and you can see I've been working with this, so there's a lot of things that are in here that I thought I had deleted. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these because you probably will not see these when you start up your Google Earth. Okay. So what I want you to do first is to go into the search window, and I can type in the location of Lane Community College, 4000 East 30th Avenue, and hit my return button, my enter button, or hit search, and Google Earth will go find that address. So there I've got a nice search to location, shows me the address there. I can zoom in and out with the slider bar here, or I can use the roller on the mouse that I have to zoom in and out. So that's one way to find a location. The other thing you can do in this search window is put in latitude and longitude. So I'm going to put in 44 degrees in decimal degrees. I'm making this up, comma, negative. I have no idea where this is. Choose search. And you can enter longitude and latitude in decimal degrees and degrees, minutes, and seconds. So there's that location. Pretty interesting, kind of bumpy landscape there. And I can, with this function here, I can change the angle, my viewing angle, and this is really nice with some of the 3D features. So I can look at the world as if it were tilted, or move it back to complete perpendicular aerial view. So there's my longitude and latitude locations. Now, for example, I'm going to zoom way out here, and let's say I want students to look at Fern Ridge Reservoir, and I want to direct them to that spot. I don't know quite how to tell them how to get there. So I can create a place mark by clicking the point, the push pin. And as I drag that push pin, I'm holding down the left mouse button, and as I drag that push pin around, you can see that the longitude and latitude is changing for the point of that push pin. So I can put the push pin in the middle of the lake. I can type in Fern Ridge Lake. I can change the color of the words on my pin, and I can change the color of the icon itself. And when I say OK, that now gets added into my places. So there's my places. I can turn it on and off by clicking the box. The other nice thing now that I can do is I can share this with people. I can save this place as, and I'm going to choose a KML. A KML is good for just a single file, and I should have set up a folder for this, but I'm just going to pop this down on the desktop. It's going to be called Fern Ridge Lake KML. I'm going to save that. I'm going to close out Google Earth. And there's the KML I created. Now I could send that to students or to you, or you can send it to me as an email attachment. It attaches just as a document. So to launch that, I just double click this KML file. Oh, sorry. I have to actually close my other Google Earth application. So let me go ahead and close that. Here we go. So when I double click a KML file, it will launch Google Earth. It should launch Google Earth. Let's see what's going on here. Or maybe it's actually open. Let me see. Okay, here we go. So if I've downloaded Google Earth properly, when I double click the KML file, it launches Google Earth. And the file that I put in or was sent, the Fern Ridge file, is there with all of the attributes that I used in this setting. So let's say I want students to look at a specific area. I'm going to remove that. Let's look at this this riparian area, a little bit of a swampy area to the west of the lake. So I can do a couple things. I can put in a push pin and drag that to the area I want, and say Lake Edge, and say OK. I can measure the distance between the center of the lake and the edge of the lake. I click the ruler. I want to measure my distance in kilometers. So I start, sorry about that, kilometers. I'm going to click there. This is a little more sensitive than the PC. And click there. I want to clear them. Let's try that again. So I want to measure a line, measure length. There, I click once with my left mouse, let go, drag to the next place, and click again. So there's 3 kilometers. It will also automatically recalculate depending on which unit I choose. So how many yards. I don't know what a smoot is. I should look that up. Okay, so there's the distance measurement. Clear that. So let's say I want to look at the area. I want to identify a riparian area that's going to need some treatment or replanting. So I'm going to choose the polygon feature. and call it Fern Ridge okay, plant. I can again change the area color and the fill, and I'm going to change the opacity while I'm drawing. That means it's a little more transparent to 40%. Really? Okay. So now I can start, I click with my left mouse and I hold my mouse down and I can trace an area, and you can see that string is kind of attached from my beginning point, and each of these little dots that you see is a vertex or an XY point coordinate, but we won't see that as we go through when we finish up. So let's just say this is my area, and I'm going to double click to finish it. And then when I'm done, that was hidden by my screen, I choose OK, and I have now a polygon of the plant area. I can also go in and save that as a KML file and send that to somebody. So this is one way that information is saved in resource management. I want to find, identify the location that you're going to use to do some kind of treatment. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you then, or the second to the last thing, is how to change the latitude and longitude. So on a Mac, you go under Google Earth and hit Preferences, and this is where you get your toolbars. That's what they're called on a PC. So I can change the units from decimal degrees to degree minutes seconds to degree decimal minutes, or a universal transmercator UTM. So, and I can also choose the default measurements from miles and feet to kilometers. So let's just play with this a minute. I'm going to put in a point. So right now I'm in decimal degrees. If I place a point, you can see that I have decimal degrees. If I go in here and change the preferences to degrees, minutes, and seconds, and OK that, and put in a new point, cancel that, then they're degrees, minutes, and seconds, or preferences, universal transmercator. Let's put in a point there, and this is quite different. This is originated as a military unit, a grid system for locating pretty precisely, and so this is zone 10 in the northern hemisphere, this many meters east and that many meters north of the origin for zone 10, but we'll talk about UTM later on in the term. Okay, the last thing on looking at the polygons, I couldn't figure out how to do this, is the preferences is called get info. So if I want to, let's say I don't want that to be opaque any longer, I want that to be 100% opacity, I can change that. I can add information. So I can fill that out, and then that information is identified with my polygon. Okay, so the last thing I want you to see is a website that